Good afternoon. This is Beyond Moyers. Today I'll be showing you some of the IPU forms in GentivaLink and how they work. First of all, let's start off with the Nursing Comprehensive Admission Assessment. You'll find that this assessment looks very similar to the paper assessment that you're currently using, and we won't spend a lot of time on how to specifically fill out all of the items. I'm going to jump forward to page number 8 and point out a couple of items on this particular page. Page 8 is a page of physician orders. In GentivaLink, those orders flow over to the hospice initial order form. This is used for hospice routine care patients and not specifically sufficient for direct admissions into the IPU. If your patient's being directly admitted into the IPU, then you would use this assessment, but page 8, you'll only fill out one item on page 8, and the rest of page 8 you can skip. The item that you do need to fill out on page 8 is the level of care. And that is this link here that says none. That's the current level of care when you first open a form. So you'll need to open this up and select the level of care, complete the other items in this box, and save it. And then you don't need to finish filling out the remainder of the page 8. Now going to look at a couple of other forms. When you do see your IPU forms and the routine home side forms that you currently use on paper, you'll find a lot of similarities to them, so we're not going to review all of those forms. But we are going to take a look at a couple of forms that you'll use for your shifts that are a bit different. The first one to focus on is the inpatient unit aid note. And you'll find this looks quite a bit different than what you might be using currently. The note has identifying information at the top of it, and you'll want to make sure that you select the appropriate date in and date out. And this is important if your shift spans past midnight. So you want to make sure that you fill out those particular items. And then in the center here, you'll see a grid. It has time in, time out, visit code, and care focus. And then that's repeated, time in, time out, visit code, and care focus, etc., across the page and then down. So you have a lot of spaces where you can indicate when you enter a patient's room how long you were there to provide care to the patient, and then what sort of care you might have been focused on. Now, this is important because it's related to billing. So the time in, time out, and your visit code is direct care time, and that's what will flow over to the McKesson application and appear on your claims. This will take the place of paper logs that you may have been using previously, where you indicated how much time you spent in a patient's room and what sort of hands-on care, direct care you were providing. So to complete this section, you would select the click in the box and a drop-down list appears. You can select the time that you were in the room, in and out, and this is in 15-minute increments is what's given to you. If you have to change the exact time, you can certainly do that. There's only one visit code to select from on this aid note, making that very easy. And then care focus, either nutrition or personal care, you can select whichever one best describes what you were doing in the room, or leave it blank if neither one of those describe what you were doing. So you continue out throughout your shift filling out these individual spaces as you provide care for the patient. If you fill up your sheet before your shift is over, you simply complete this one and create a new one. Further down on the form, you'll see a list of tasks. This is where you can indicate exactly what care that you provided for your patient. You'll see time columns going across the top, and it works the same way that you click a box. This is the military time reflected in here, so this would be 0100, 0300, etc. So you can select whichever time best matches when you did the particular task. And if you do this particular task several times during your shift, each time you do it again, you can come in here and make your time selections to indicate when you perform that task for the patient. You have a comment section out to the side where you can type any additional information that you need to. And you'll find a couple of prompts to help you remember things to enter. So, for example, assist with meals. You'll see percent eaten over here. You could type in some information. Right, and then further down on the page here, you'll notice a place to indicate vital signs if you do happen to take them. Again, you can select your military time and just type in what information that you obtained. And finally, this bottom section is where you can enter additional comments if you have them for any additional information that you need to provide. Not required, but it is available for you. All right, we're going to look at another note. This next one we'll look at is the inpatient unit narrative note. Looks similar to the aid note that we just looked at. However, this is for social workers, for the unit managers, for the hospice physician to indicate some information, and other disciplines that may be visiting the patient, spiritual care, etc. The social worker's time that they spend with the patient is direct care time, and that is something that needs to be captured so it can map over to McKesson for billing purposes. So again, you would select the time from the drop-down lists or type it in if necessary. The visit code, there's only one to select from, and you would just repeat that throughout the grid if you're there more than one time during a shift. That top piece is for the social work only. The visit code is only applicable to social workers. Other disciplines or individuals that may be filling out this note would just indicate whatever information they want in the section below here. So you would select your time, and then you can type any information desired on this line. And you can enter more information than it looks like the line allows. It just keeps going, so you can add much more than just one line worth of information. So this narrative section is used by social workers or any of the other disciplines that are filling this out. But again, the top piece of this note is only for social workers. Right, we're going to go back to the patient chart and look at the last note. This is the nurse's note. Similar to the other notes, you definitely want to make sure you have the correct date in and date out at the top. And then you would select your times, your time in and time out for whatever care that you were providing, and nurses have one code to select from. This is the information, time in, time out, and the code that flow over to McKesson for billing purposes. So you want to be sure that you have that information correct. The care focus, there's assessment, medication, or treatment to select from. Symptoms, if a symptom applies to what you're doing for the patient at that point in time when you enter the room, would select the symptom and then a rating for the symptom. And you would continue to fill this out as your shift progressed. You have many boxes, many lines in order to enter information about the care that you provide for the patients that day. When you're finished filling the note out, if you fill it up during your shift, you can complete it and then create a new one for the rest of your shift. There's a vital sign section in the middle here to enter many vital sign readings. If you fill those up during the shift, there's a line you can type in additional vital sign readings, and it holds more information than it looks like. And then the bottom of the note is all narrative section. You select your time and enter information just by typing. And as with the other notes we've looked at, this holds more than it looks like. You can continue typing more than one line's worth of information for that particular entry. And that is it. That's all the forms that you will note in Gentiva Link that are quite a bit different than the forms that you're used to filling out currently. I thank you for your time.